So, does this sound familiar? You get excited about crypto faucets, you click around for a few days, and then you just kind of stop. Yeah, you're not alone. So many people quit because they just don't have a simple, repeatable system. Well, today we're going to fix that. I'm going to break down a 15-minute daily routine that actually works using two specific platforms to stack those tiny bits of crypto day in and day out. So we're going to cover the how, the exact step-by-step routine. But honestly, the most crucial parts are what you can realistically earn, the hidden risks you absolutely need to be aware of, and who this is actually for in the first place. I mean, the whole idea is incredibly appealing, right? The thought of earning cryptocurrency with just a few minutes of your time each day, and you don't have to invest a single dime. It really does sound almost too good to be true. And that is the big question, isn't it? Well, the answer isn't a simple yes or no. See, you're not really getting something for nothing. What you're doing is exchanging your time and your attention for these tiny rewards. But yeah, you can definitely accumulate some crypto without spending any of your own money. The best way to picture it is like a leaky tap, just dripping out tiny amounts. This whole concept actually got its start way back in 2010. A lead Bitcoin developer created one to help get this new, unknown currency into people's hands. Today, these faucets drip out little rewards, which are paid for by ad revenue when you do simple stuff like solving a CAPTCHA or watching an ad. So that begs the question, why on earth would anyone do this for fractions of a penny? And that's a fair question. But here's the thing. The real value, especially if you're a beginner, isn't the money. It's really about the education. It's a totally risk-free way to learn how wallets work, to understand transactions, and just to get your feet wet in the crypto world without putting any of your own cash on the line. Okay, so for this routine to be efficient and not a total waste of time, you need two key tools that work together. You need a place to do the earning and a place to collect the earnings. So let's take a look at FaucetPay and Earnbitmoon. Now, what's really clever is how these two platforms solve a huge problem. See, Earnbitmoon is the place where you'll be clicking and doing tasks to get paid. But the payments are so small, people call it crypto dust. And that's where FaucetPay comes in. It acts like a special bucket or a vacuum cleaner to collect all that dust from lots of different sources so you don't lose it all to transaction fees. Honestly, FaucetPay is the engine that makes this entire strategy even possible. It lets you get paid instantly, even when it's just fractions of a cent. You can pull in earnings from hundreds of different faucet sites all into one dashboard. And here's the best part. It has an internal swap tool that lets you convert all those different little bits of crypto into one main coin, like Litecoin, that has super low withdrawal fees. Okay, so we've got the concept and we've got the tools. Now let's get into the practical side of things and see how this all comes together in a simple, repeatable daily habit. All right, this is the core loop, and it's designed to take you about 10 to 15 minutes. First, you log in and you hit the main faucet claim, which you can do every 5 minutes. Now, while that timer is resetting, you're not just waiting around. You hop over and click through all the paid-to-click ads. After that, you tackle 2 or 3 short links. They're a little more annoying, but they pay better. And then by the end, you should see all those little payments show up instantly in your FaucetPay account. So we've seen the process. It's pretty straightforward. But now we've got to talk about the most important part. What are the actual results? This is where we need to be completely transparent. Let's be crystal clear about this. And this isn't just my opinion, it's what all the reliable sources will tell you. This is not a job. It's not a significant income stream. The whole point is learning and accumulating tiny amounts, not generating wealth. And there you have it. This number perfectly illustrates the point. After you finish that 15-minute routine, you can realistically expect to have earned somewhere between 3 and 10 cents. Yep, cents. The term micro earnings is very, very literal here. Okay, so we've established the earnings are tiny. And that might be fine if there were zero risks involved, but that's just not the case. We have to balance that super low reward with the potential for some pretty serious problems. And our research into Earnbitmoon, well, it turned up some major red flags from users. This right here sums up a lot of the user reviews we saw, and it's a huge red flag. There are just tons of reports from people who spent weeks, even months, accumulating their earnings, only to have their account get banned the moment they tried to cash out. So here's the bottom line. While your financial risk is low, because you're not putting your own money in, the risk of wasting your time is extremely high. The fact that it's hard to even figure out who runs the site, combined with low trust scores and even official warnings, it all means you have to proceed with extreme caution. Now, this advice applies to any faucet, not just Earnbitmoon. First, protect yourself. Use a burner email that you don't care about. And listen to me on this one. Never, ever send money or crypto to a site to unlock your withdrawal. That is a classic scam. Make sure you enable two-factor authentication on your FaucetPay account and get into the habit of withdrawing your earnings frequently in small chunks instead of letting them pile up. Okay, so we've seen the routine, we've seen the tiny rewards, and we've seen the very real risks. Let's put it all together and figure out who should, and maybe more importantly, who shouldn't even bother with this. Look, this routine really only makes sense if you fit into a very specific box. If you're brand new to crypto and you want a hands-on way to learn how things work, it's great. Or if you're a hobbyist who just gets a kick out of collecting things and seeing the numbers go up, it can be fun. The absolute key, though, is having zero expectation of making any real money. And on the flip side, this is absolutely not for you if you're looking for any kind of income, part-time or otherwise. If your time is valuable, or if you know you'd be really frustrated if you lost your earnings to a random ban, then it's probably best to just stay away. So if you've heard all this, the good, the bad, and the risks, and you still want to experiment with it for yourself, then cool. I've left links to the platforms down in the description. Just please make sure you proceed with all the information from this explainer fresh in your mind. And that's really the question it all boils down to. You're trading your time, not for money, but for experience. So the final question is for you. Is that a trade worth making? Let me know what you think, and if you have any of your own faucet experiences, good or bad, share them in the comments below.